Hi everyone, I'm Ata, and today I will present my analysis of assembly points in Istanbul. I want to start with the motivation of that project. Last year, unfortunately, we experienced a powerful earthquake in Hatay, and Hatay was a pretty nice city in Turkey. A thousand of buildings were destroyed, and lots of people lost their houses. After the earthquake, we realized some pain points with awful experiences, and people outside of the Hatay could not arrive at the Hatay because of the wrecks, and the earthquake victims had to wait for help, lonely and in the bad weather conditions. Obviously, well qualified assembly points help for people. Also, we are waiting for another strong earthquake in Istanbul, and Istanbul is more crowded than Hatay. For this reason, we should increase the number of the assembly points, and we should do this quickly so people can wait together in a safe place for lending a hand from the government or other citizens. At the same time, they can help each other. Protection is so important here because unfortunately we saw some thieves after the Hatay earthquake. I collected the data to my project and then I needed to clean some redundant and duplicated data. Here I detected some redundant data and provide it in QGIS. You can see the different records pointed to same place on the right side of the screen. The critical parts in here are where conditions and self-join. Then I deleted these records with the transaction and also used a subquery here. Finally, I checked the correctness of the query on QGIS. There is just one row and it's the correct boundary area, and you can see that area right side of the screen. Before the analysis, I realized that some information in dataset needed to be completed. Firstly, I created a new column and then inserted some proper data into this column. Now I know the city of these records, and again I use transactions to wrap up the update statement. This is the first step of my analysis. I merge buildings and boundary polygons on the QGIS layer with proper colors. This is just to see the big picture, and also I printed the row counts of the tables with the union keyword. Istanbul is a crowded city and it is the most congested city in Turkey. There are 16 million people. For this reason, it is important to show the building counts district by district. It is similar to previous one. Firstly, I created a new column for storing the building counts with the alter table command. Then I grouped the boundaries with the buildings count. Finally, I displayed the new data on QGIS with the graduate colors and the number labels. Parks are the most important assembly points in Istanbul because there are enough spaces for setting up a tent. I need to convert two different data into one geometry data to use on QGIS, and you can see all the park points in Istanbul on the right side of the screen. It's time to make some analysis with the points and polygons. It's a density analysis according to number of buildings and parks at each boundary level. After displaying the data on QGIS, we can say that we should make or build more parks in Istanbul. This is important for social life and earthquake preparation. The key point here is joint with the SD contains between the boundaries and park. Then calculate the density with parks and buildings with grouping the according to boundaries. Also, I used the categorized color scheme on QGIS. My main motivation here is to present the buildings far from parks for each boundary level, so the government or minister can build parks for these buildings. Here you can see the buildings for far from the parks. First of all, I calculated the buildings and parks in a specific boundary. Then I found buildings that were close to parks. I used 500 meter for my calculation and I used meter base SRID. Finally, I found the buildings outside of that group. And the summary, this is the maze map from the positron, and when I add the boundaries it looks like this. And also this is the map with boundaries and buildings. This is the building count analysis. You can see building counts at each boundary or district. In Turkey we say district for the boundaries. When I insert the parks, the map looks like this. And this is a park density analysis for each district or boundary. And my favorite one is that it's for buildings that need to park for a specific district or boundary. You can see the buildings that far from the parks, and also parks is a green point on that map. And thank you for your attention. Bye.